guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of ours, the FAI Cup review show. We obviously had 16 fixtures. We're not going to go through even, Luke, every single fixture because we'll be here for about 3 hours. So we'll go through some of the non-league results first. Maynooth beat Villa 2-1. O'Connor, Bazumba and Kennedy getting one for Villa there. Lucan beat Leicester 3-0. Dave Mooney actually scored in this game. I didn't give the other scores. Bonaghy United beat Pike Rovers 6-0, which was incredible. Blackwood 2, McNamee 2, Doherty and Lina. Poor Pike, especially after the preview show, and I tipped them to win for no reason. Salt Hill drew 2-2 at Malahide, and Malahide scored a late goal in that game and ended up winning on penalties after extra time. So fair play to all those sides that went through from non-league, and be interested to see if any of them draw each other in the next round. We'll go through now some of the other non-league sides actually, and they had heavy defeats, let's be honest. Treaty 5, Usher 0. Guerins, D Georgia 2, Curran and Edogan scoring for Treaty. UCD 3, Cockhill 0, Lonergan with 2 and Gallagher. Bangor 0, Rovers, Shamrock Rovers 4, Gaffney, Hoare and Mackey and Cleary even. And we have Derry City 7, Oliver Bond 0, Glass with a hat-trick, Atkins Sunday with 2, Connolly and McGonigal. Luke, those results show there's a massive gap at the moment between League of Ireland clubs, regardless of the division they're in actually, and the non-league clubs. It seems to be getting bigger because there's less shocks, isn't there, the last couple of seasons, I think?
Yeah, no, there is. Like, we were even saying, you know, there should be a shock, like, of where we're talking a non-league club beat a Prem club, not a Prem club, or even just a League of Ireland club in general, or the First Division or Premier. But, like, there wasn't. And you know, to be fair, like... Not even close. No, there wasn't. And... like there was, I think the scorelines, even Treaty beating Usher 6-0 sort of shows like the difference in quality in that. And you look at the First Division and the Premier Division, most clubs are like a lot of the clubs in the First Division. There's a good few clubs in the First Division are full time, and then you look at the Premier Division, probably only one team or two teams that aren't labeled full time. You know what I mean? So that just shows
in terms of their part time, it's a different part time to Oliver Bond, let's say. You know, that kind of, it's a complete, like, you know, from Drogheda itself. Obviously, the conditioning coaches like Oliver Bond, they don't have any of that. Let's be real about it. So, I must mention as well, Bluebell 0, Galway 7. I actually forgot about that one as well. So Curly Walsh for 2, Manley, Army, and Lambushu came on and scored 2 goals. So that's another one. So you had 5-0, 3-0, 4-0. 7-0, 7-0 involving the non-league teams, and not even a goal for non-league teams. Like, you know, Bluebell weren't helped with sending off after 11 minutes. I mean, you don't want that, do you, when you're playing a team like Galway? You just get the runaround. But I suppose the interesting point about those games, Declan Glass introduced himself to the Derry faithful with a hat-trick, scored a few assists as well. Obviously, we'll have harder games on the way, but still, it's nice for him to get off the mark, and be interested to see how he does for them there. You know, Shamrock Rovers probably had arguably the less convincing of the wins, actually. That's the funny thing against the non-league teams. It took them longer to finish off Bangor as well, so that's interesting as well. And look, I named the players that got the goals: Gaffney, Hoare, Mackey, Cleary. So, you know what I mean? Quality players played in that game for Shamrock Rovers as well. But no, it is interesting. Like, and you know, there's no doubt that anyone in the league, being the Premier Division and First Division, will be hoping for a draw against any of those 4 non-league teams that came through. Like,
oh, of course, like it's you know, you look at the scores in them games and all. You'd freely, like, if you're a League of Ireland club, you'd fancy yourself against any of them. You know what I mean? And you'd be fairly confident if you did draw one of them. And you know, so obviously, like, you'll be watching the clubs will be watching the draw on tomorrow morning and praying that they, you know, get a non-league club. And, you know, then if you do, like, you win that, you're through to the quarter-final then, you know what I mean? And it's possible from then, like, you know what I mean? 90 minutes is all it really, like, you're like 2 games away from a final, do you know what I mean? It's what you want, like. So look, to get over the first round, you know, is always good. Just for myself, like, withdrawal, like, it's you know, 2 years in a row we draw Derry, and I actually said it in the interview I done with Kevin after the game, that it's like a monkey off the back, you know, getting through the first round. Like, it's probably the furthest we've gone in 2 seasons. So you know, that's good as well. Like, and to go on a cup run, I think most clubs will want to do. So you know, I think if you look at the draws, if you get a lucky enough draw, like, you can really go far in the FAI Cup, like we've seen with the likes of even Athlone getting to the semi-final two seasons ago, you know what I mean? So Anything's possible in the cup, and but to be fair, I think the gap is absolutely huge. It's massive, like, and it's continuously getting bigger. As the seasons go on, and I can only see it really getting bigger rather than getting narrower. But the gap is just too big, like.
Yeah, speaking about big gaps, finished Drogheda United 5, Athlone Town 1, and you were obviously there. I was there as well. Foley, Williams 2. Markey actually scored a nice goal, and Brennan for Drogheda, and McCarrick scored a late goal for Athlone, which was funnily enough celebrated with the Drogheda fans. Yeah, look, there was a big gap between teams, and like, no disrespect to Athlone, I can only call to see it, but it kind of looks more like a Leinster Senior League team or a non-league side, didn't they? Which was poor, like, from their point of view. Drogheda won it without any fuss, in my opinion, and I think Drogheda played really well in patches in the game, and then at times during the game there was a bit of a lull. You felt like this could have got very embarrassing, actually, for Athlone. I mean, Drogheda hit the post on a number of occasions, there were a few chances, and you do feel if they played in, say, full gear, it could have been a massive win. The goalkeeper for Athlone, look, he was very poor. He got cut out for Dean Williams. Brilliant by Dean Williams, by the way, to sneak around them. But you got to be more aware of what you're doing and more aware of your area. Arguably, could have done better with Foley's goal. He kind of just comes out and it's a Superman punch, but gets caught in no man's land. And there was another goal where he gets caught in a bit of a clearance as well. So he had a bit of a nightmare. But look, Drogheda, professional job from Drogheda. They'd be delighted to go through to the next round. They're expected to win, but you're always nervous with those ties as well that you're expected to win. And look, they were professional on the day, and job done, really.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, I was saying, like, if the longer, I was a bit worried because I was saying, if before the game I was saying, like, if the longer the game goes on at 0-0, or, you know, if Long get a goal or whatever, then that's when you start to sort of panic. But once Drogheda got the early goal, then I sort of was comfortable, like, and to be from the start, from the first whistle to probably the last, Drogheda were in second gear, like, do you know what I mean? And it was just a dominant performance, controlled. You know, Drogheda never really looked like they were in any danger at all. I think at 2-0 they have a good chance. Keeper makes a good save, you know, might make it a game, but to be fair, it didn't really in the end. Like, so overall it's a good performance. You know, we went with a full strength team, which I kind of expected. I didn't really think he'd rest Black. You know, I know we've got today's game, and he had today's game in mind as well. Obviously, that's when he took off Deegan and that at half time. You know what I mean? He wanted to be able to do that, and at 3-0 at half time, he felt like he could do that. So that's the pleasing thing as well, that he didn't have to, you know, give lads 90 minutes and all to see out the game or whatever. So the likes of Dean Williams, really good. You know, really good for that first goal. Look, I know the keeper's poor and all, and has to be aware of his surroundings, but it's really sneaky to do, and that and it's really good by him. And then he takes the second goal well. Darragh Markey, it's like, seriously, as the games go on, look, I know you can say it's at Lone Town or whatever, but as the games go on, he's just getting better, like, do you know what I mean? And his watching there, like, he's worth the. I've seen a lot of people saying he's worth the admission fee alone, you know what I mean? Which is probably true, because he's so good, like, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, and, you know, his feet are ridiculous. He's just getting sharper, as you said. So that's really good, and it's really pleasing, because we're coming into that sort of business end of the season where you want to get as many points on the board as possible, going on a bit of a cup run and that. So look, delighted to still be in the cup in the half for tomorrow's draw, and hopefully I'm hoping for a favourable enough draw. But look, I even think the gap between the Premier Division and the First Division is huge. Do you know what I mean? Bar the top three clubs, maybe, the likes of Waterford,
I agree with that.
Waterford, Galway and Cork, the gap is huge. Do you know what I mean? It's massive. I think Cork and Galway and Waterford, as we've seen over the weekend, are probably capable to beat any of the Premier Division clubs on their day, like, you know. But, you know, the likes of the rest of the league is probably, you know, we've seen the likes of Dundalk beating Longford comfortably. Look, I know it took them a while to break them down, but once they scored about 4 goals in about 20 minutes. Like, you know,
4 and 9 minutes to be precise, would you believe? Actually, we'll move on to that while we're on it. It did finish Dundalk 4, Longford 0. They did score 4 goals in 9 minutes. They tend to do that. We've talked about that about blitzes with Dundalk at Oriel Park. It's strange. They've done that. Sligo got 2, Hooban and Adams. 0-0 at half time. I checked the score at half time, and when I'm vlogging matches, I don't check my phone for scores after. But then at full time, 4-0. Jamie, it was 0-0 at half time. But 4 goals in 9 minutes just completely blitzed Longford. And like, Dundalk do that at home. They're scoring goals at home. They're not conceding at home. It's a recipe for good results, I suppose. And you mentioned there the gap as well, and I think you're right there. I think there is a gap between those three clubs, which are full time in the first division at the end of the day, but also with the quality of player they have, and ultimately Dundalk comfortably as well into the next round.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's very comfortable for them in the end. Like obviously they would have been a half-time 0-0. I don't think they would have been worried, to be fair, but I think they would have just been a bit, probably could have stuck 1 or 2 away early on, like and put the game to bed early. But they wouldn't have been worried. Like they would have been still comfortable in the dressing room at half-time, saying we're 0-0. Like I think Longford would have been pleased to be 0-0 at half-time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to be fair, once they got the first goal, it just it shows the difference in class. Like really, like, do you know what I mean? Like that Dundalk are able to do this. Like, do you know what I mean? They can just turn it on at any point, especially in Oriel, like we've seen this season. Score 1 goal and then 9 minutes later they've 3 more goals. Like, you know what I mean? Which is frightening, to be fair, because they are quite capable of doing that against any team. Because they do create chances in games and against anyone. You know what I mean? Like we've seen they played Rovers there and they did create chances and they won the game in the end. Like, but they're capable of just turning on against anyone, which shows the sort of class in their team and that. And adding the likes of Alfie Lewis and Robbie McCourt and the new lad. I can't really pronounce his name.
Hodge.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Look, they're adding new additions as well, and they're building a squad that they want to have, that Stevie wants. Like, bringing back Alfie Lewis. I know he was with Pats and that. You know what I mean? So a player he knows quite well. Like, so he's starting to you see now in this window, he's building the squad he wants. Obviously, he would have been disappointed to lose out on Connolly. Like, that's a big loss. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I would be quite worried just defensively what they're going to be like without him over the next few weeks. You would be just wary, you know what I mean? How tough of a loss that will be, because he's been arguably their best player this season, like, you know what I mean? Up until he left. So look, comfortable win for them in the next round of the cup, and they're going to be a team you don't want to face in the cup, especially in Oriel, like,
Definitely. I think that'd be people want to avoid that nearly more so than Rovers at the moment, to be honest with you. From Longford's point of view, you're right there as well with Longford. I mean, if you think how badly they struggled in the league last year, but their squad isn't as strong as last year, you know what I mean? So that says it all, like, in itself, I think, with Longford. But Bray Wanderers nailed Shelbourne 3 and Boyd with 2 Moylan. I think the two of you guys, yourself and Daz, actually said 3 and I said 2 and I said a couple more. It almost was like you could read the script for this game, really, couldn't you? Just strange. Like, I mean, you could just read the script. I mean, Bray, as I said, if that was past season, you'd say maybe Bray could maybe nick something there or whatever. But, like, it's all right to say there could be a shock. But if you're not playing with confidence and, there's so much going on at that club, it's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. And Shelbourne would be delighted just to get through to the next round, and they'll be looking for a favourable draw, obviously, again.
Yeah, literally. I think if Bray had a bet them, that would have been probably one of the shocks of the cup, and that just shows where Bray are as a club at the minute. You know what I mean? And as a team, like, you know what I mean? It just shows. Like, and I think that keeper left as well there, didn't he, the other day? Michael Kelly, did he leave?
Oh, he did. Sorry, yeah, he went to Carlisle, wasn't it? Yeah, Carlisle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? That's another loss for them. Like, they just can't. Look, I actually kind of feel sorry for them at this point. You know what I mean? It's just not. And their fans, like, their fans probably deserve a lot better,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like, they're good fans, and you know what I mean? I love going to watch Drogheda when they played against Bray. Like, I love going to Bray, like, even though it's the coldest place in Ireland, but it is a good. It's a good away day. Like, you know what I mean? And like, you feel sorry for them, because when you think of where they were 2020 season, like, going into the last game of the season, they were top of the league. Do you know what I mean? Going to win the league, and you know what I mean? If they had probably won that league, they probably wouldn't be where they are now. Do you know what I mean?
If you think of their trajectory with Drogheda, it was there, and it's miles away now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I remember when Drogheda got back to Athlone 2-0, and Bray were 4 or 5 points clear at the top going into the last 3 games of the season. And that was just like, obviously they missed out and then they were poor in that playoffs that season as well. But like, if you'd feel like what would happen if they'd have won that league? I don't think they would be. But look, on the game, comfortable for Shells, 2 early goals from Sean Boyd. Then the third goal, Matty Smith done quite well for us, so they'll be pleased with him. Like, we didn't actually mention how good a signing that is for Shells, because he's quality, like, you know what I mean? And I've always said about Matty Smith how good he is, like, and I was very surprised that he's leaving Derry, and I was even more surprised with the club he signed.
More surprised he went to Shells, if I'm honest about it. I'm sure Shelbourne fans would be as well.
Yeah, exactly. I know Pats probably will be. I think Pats could have easily got him in. Like, I was surprised he didn't go back to Pats. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, look, different manager and that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't really know. So yeah, that's an interesting one. But look, good sign of Shells. 3-0 win in the next round of the cup. I actually think that Shells could have potential to go on a serious cup run. You know, it's similar to Drogheda. Like, they're both sort of in the same area of the table. They've nothing really, like, you know, it's quite comfortable for them in the league. You know what I mean? So they'll be both looking at sort of a cup run. So I actually think Shells have a serious potential to go on and go far in the cup. So be interested to see. Yeah.
As long as they don't draw Dundalk away. They finished for Harps 1, Bohemians 3 at Finn Park, and McDade scored his first goal for the club here with on his debut, actually, with a full debut. With a smart finish, Kerr and Junior scored. McWood scored to make it 2-1 right in half time for Harps. And look, again, job done for Bowes, because Harps are in a similar boat to Bray in a way, obviously better quality, but they're in that boat where there's a lot of trouble and turmoil and bits and pieces and mess, and that you don't feel confident they're going to get a result. They won't be happy with their new goalkeeper, McKeown, in this one, though. I mean, the second goal for Kerr, what can you say? Just catch the ball, basically. Just drops the ball and Kerr finishes it. And even for the third goal, the clincher, he can do better there, I feel, as well. So, supposed to be a decent goalkeeper. Like, I think you mentioned it yesterday, actually, that he made over 50 appearances for Grimsby. Maybe it was just one of them weird debuts. But on the day, he was poor and he did cost Finn Harps badly. That said, Bowes, enough to talk to Bowes fans and seen the highlights and that. Bowes were always in the ascendancy and putting the pressure on in the game as well. So it's no more than Bowes deserved. And I know we made a joke about it, but they're still in with a chance to wear that Dublin Bus jersey in the next round. So it'll be interesting. They'll probably get Waterford away, Luke.
Yeah, I was trying to think there who wears
blue. Just came into my head there.
Yeah, so look, good result for Bowes, of course. I know James Clark had a great debut as well. I heard an assist, a great ball in actually for the goal. Seen the goal, so fair play to him. Obviously, it's a loss for us, and he's a player who's came on leaps and bounds over the last probably 3 months, 4 months. You know what I mean? And you know, you can see the quality he's sort of starting to bring. Like, and
yeah, I mean, Luke, you know yourself from watching him play. Like, Bowes fans are wondering what kind of player he is. Like, and you know yourself. I'm saying it's not the midfielder that gets on the ball and is going to spray passes and such. It's the penetrating runs, isn't it? And he can bridge that gap, isn't it? It's those runs. You know what I mean? He's very good at that, isn't he? And that can break lines and cause all sorts of issues. And he's very good at it. I think there was evidence of it in this game as well, by judging by Keith Long's comments, because he mentioned that.
Oh, his runs are like, he can he might go missing for 5 or 10 minutes in the game, but then he'll get the ball be about 3 or 4 fellas and win a foul on the edge of the box. You know what I mean? That's how good he is. Look, it's a loss for us. I was obviously very disappointed that he's gone, because it's such a good player for us, and you know, he was getting so many minutes with us, and I think he probably would have gone anyways. Probably at the end of the season. So to get obviously a fee from it is probably the right decision from the club. So, you know, it's probably a good decision from to be sold. But he is a loss, of course. But to be fair, look, he on Bowes, you know what I mean? It's a job done. Like, it's you want to go up there in the first, like, it's on the first round of the cup. Although probably Finn Harps are in a bit of a disarray at the minute. But like, it's still a tough place to go to, especially in the first round of the cup. Like, it can be a bit of a banana skin, really. Like, the only Premier Division tie as well, I think it was. So like, Bowes probably wouldn't have been too impressed with their draw, but with the teams they probably could have got. So they'll be happy they got the win 3-1. A lot of their new players in. Like, that's a new, like, it's mad because they've got a new squad in July. Like, do you know what I mean? A lot of new players in that squad. Like,
yes, that's 3 wins in the bounce for them, and all the way from home.
Exactly. That's sort of. Yeah. Look, I know you'd usually say it for like if a new manager comes in, that sort of bounce. But they've got it with the new players that came in, and obviously your man Josh Kerr scored, McDade scored. So new lads are scoring as well, and they're getting in there. Like, I seen when they came down to Heading Game Park, like John O'Sullivan, I was very impressed with him. Like, and he was just very sharp, like getting flicks around the corner and all, and you know what I mean, getting into good areas and that. So he looked like a good player, like, and is a good addition. So yeah, James Clark as well is a great signer for them. Like, he's going to probably take up that position that Devoy played. He probably won't have that same
different player, but I know what you mean. Yeah,
different player, but he'll still it's probably the best position for him getting in them areas. You know what I mean? Because he can score goals as well. He has chipped in with goals to Drogheda before, so great signing for Bowes, and obviously he's going to be a big addition for them. So they're in the next round of the cup. Hopefully they get to wear their Dublin Bus jersey. You know, they look to be a good crowd up at Finn Park as well. Probably expect from the Bowes fans these days. In fairness to them, they do travel in numbers, so fair play to them.
I just wonder from Finn Harps' point of view, I might like to hear it, but are they better off out of the cup in a way?
Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? Like it's like they can't get any worse in the league. Like it's in a bad in a nice way. You know what I mean? Even though it's not nice.
I know it can be a distraction, but they don't need to be distracted.
No, they don't. But like even in the game, like their performance probably just wasn't good enough. And you've seen that video of Eaton Boyle at the end of the game as well, which isn't going to help them. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest. So look, and especially the keeper, new signing in, only signed him that day, thrown straight into the fold. Like, look, I know the keeper made over 500 appearances for Grimsby, so he's coming in with experience. Obviously, it's a lot of appearances, like, you know what I mean, for one club. Like, so like, I don't know. It's hard to really say about Finn Harps, isn't it? Like, it's are they better off in the cup? Are they better off not in the cup? It's a tough question, to be fair.
Yeah, so on Sunday finished Cobh 0, Cork City 1 at St. Coleman's Park, and Keating with the winner here. Gavin Woods was at this game, Luke, so he actually done a report. So there's a report up in the channel, so if anyone wants to get more in-depth analysis of such of the game, does a really good job, and I have to say, check that one out as well. But look, Cork will be delighted to go down here. When I say go down here, they're far to travel, and nick the 1-0 win and get through to the next round. And interesting that them and Galway are through to the next round, and Waterford for that matter as well. So I tell you what, no Premier Division team will want to face Cork, particularly at Turner's Cross.
No,
you, like,
I was actually asked if you'd take playing Cork, and I said no, like, not in Turner's Cross. You know what I mean? Maybe in United Park, but not in Turner's Cross. Like, you know what I mean?
Luke, I tell you, even Pats last year, and Cork were in a bit of turmoil last year. Pats only won down there in penalties.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that actually. Yeah. Like, look, fair play to Gav. He done a really good analysis of the game. Like, so fair play to him. Like, that was really good. I actually enjoyed that. But look, it's I actually tipped Cobh to win the game. Like, so it can be a tough game. Like, it's a derby, sort of, you know, form does go out the window. Like, we have seen in them games, like, there is teams capable of beating. Both teams are actually kind of capable of beating each other in the derby, which I've seen over the last sort of few seasons with them when they play each other. So, look, it's a good win for Cork. Like, it's obviously they had great numbers down there, and I know the thing happened with the stand and all, and I hope all their fans are all right. I didn't really see the damage, if there was any damage to the fans, like, obviously, but I didn't really see. I just seen some terrible photos, which is quite scary. Like, actually,
it is actually. No, it is. I don't really know what happened, so it's hard to comment and say. Did that fault, this fault. It's very hard to comment, so I don't like to make comments like that. But I'm not sure. But it's nasty though, isn't it? Let's be fair. It's a bit scary. You're right though. Particularly if you've kids in there, let's say, or something.
Like, you sort of, when you see them incidents, you think of the likes of Hillsborough and all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You think of all these terrible disasters, like, you know, and so it is quite a frightening thing, to be fair, but hopefully their fans are all right, obviously, but good win for them. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have had far to travel, and, you know, like we probably expected, there probably was more Cork fans there than Cobh, which is, you know, unbelievable. So brilliant win for them in the next round of Cup, and, you know, they'd fancy themselves to beat anyone.
Fantastic stuff. And I suppose the last two games of the day were the two shocks, I suppose. The finish the Pats like 2, Waterford FC 3. Coughlin with Pats, Gravosty for Pats, Wazim with 2, Junior with 1. That Wazim striker looks a handful, by the way. He's big, but he's got a bit of dash about him as well. Obviously scored 2 goals and nearly got another one as well. But Pats took the lead through Coughlin's penalty. Mark Doyle was fouled. I'm not sure if it was a penalty, I'll be honest. I think it's a bit... I don't know. I think Pats get away with one there, but Waterford then equalised actually through Wazim, and then they go 2-1 up, and then Gravosty equalises, and Junior scores to make it 3-2. 3-2 at half time, and it finished 3-2, which was interesting. I still think, I know we had this conversation, but I still think with Pats and Sligo, we'll get to Sligo later, but the European hangovers, I think, had a major effect on this game. And I know people were saying, should Pats have dropped more players and played more second string and all this kind of thing? I don't know. They played half and half, as did Sligo, by the way, as well. The fact is that Waterford were good enough to take advantage of it, which I kind of alluded to, didn't I, in the previous show a little bit?
Yes,
I wasn't convinced in saying Pats would win, to be fair, and I think Wexford would win as well. But look, Waterford brought a great support to this game, as I expected. The atmosphere of Richmond from the home fans was a little bit flat, I have to say. I don't know if that was a European hangover as well from the crowd, but it was a little bit flat. And Pats did start off well. I think the first 20 minutes they were pretty decent. And they did deservedly go in front. I thought down the left, Breslin and Mark Doyle, particularly in the first half, caused a serious issue for Waterford, and they couldn't really deal with them. But on the other side, for Waterford, Power and Patterson were causing serious issue for Pats, which was interesting as well. The goals that were scored for Waterford, the first goal, Paddy Barrett doesn't step up. You have to step up. Redmond and Gravossi have done it. Barrett doesn't. Waterford are through. They get in. Wazim finishes it brilliantly. The second goal then, Serge plays the ball back, head down, back towards Barrett. Barrett doesn't get there, and Wazim runs in and scores an easy goal. Junior's goal, third goal, was brilliant. Unfortunately, in the vlog, I didn't catch it. I thought it was recording and I wasn't, so I was a bit annoyed about that. But it's a lovely finish. He curls it into the corner and it's not much an angle. Brilliant. And you're looking at Junior at times, and some of his footwork is fantastic, by the way. Really good. Really good. In the second half, then, Waterford sat back a little bit, as you'd expect. Pats had a lot of the ball. Had a few chances. Tunde probably should have scored. Redmond probably should have scored. But to be honest with you, Luke, overall, I don't think Pats did enough in the game either. But Waterford would be delighted to get through to the next round, and it's fully deserved, to be honest with you. They have a great record at Richmond, by the way. They've won 4 of the last 5 visits at Richmond, which is interesting.
Yes.
Against Pats, by the way. They lost to UCD.
No, look, it's here we are again talking about Pats, probably creators of their own downfall. For goals, like, anyways, you know what I mean, and mistakes, like it's probably carbon copy of the last few weeks for them. You know what I mean? Like they're still, you know what I mean, like their performances aren't bad, like, you know what I mean, but they're sort of, if they're in a game, then especially when they're playing against probably a better opponents, you know what I mean? They're like they can be playing so well in the game and then give a stupid back pass and they score, like, you know what I mean? Like we've seen when they played in Euro at home and that, and many other games this season.
Strange, though, isn't it?
No, it is, and you'd wonder what that comes down to. I don't like when a team makes so many individual errors. I just don't know how it is. You know what I mean? I'm still really unsure. Like, you look at that pass.
I don't understand though when you are playing a back pass like that you don't have your head up. Like, you're told that at 6. Do you know what I mean? I just don't, like, that can happen occasionally. You know what I mean? But when it keeps happening, it's just bizarre, in my opinion. It's nothing down to coaching or like at that. The players are at an age now where they should be able to zip a ball back with a decent way to pass. Like, do you know what I mean? Or if it's not on, don't play the pass.
Yeah, literally, like it's. I don't know. I find it's still hard to believe it. It is funny, but look, overall they're going to be really disappointed. You know, like for going out in the first round after what the year they had in the cup last year, to go out in the first round is dreadful. It's really poor. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing really more else to say about it. Like, it's not good enough. Like, to be going out in the first round, especially, you know, they had the home draw against Waterford. Look, I know you can talk about the European thing and that, but you'd still expect Pats to go out and just do a job against Waterford. Like, do you know what I mean? You know, so look, obviously Waterford, as we mentioned before, would have had that week preparation. You know, they're in every day of the week. Would have been training really hard. You know, they would have probably smelled blood going to Richmond. And look, it's probably not a massive...
To be fair, Luke, they did smell blood. Like, they didn't go there and sit back. In fact, I thought they were a little too open at the start because Pat, as I said, were causing issue down the left. And there was a few times Mark Doyle was in, you're kind of going, oh my God, they played the pass, he's actually in 1-on-1. So they were very open, like, but it worked out for them in the end. As I said, they capitalised on some of Pat's mistakes, which is fair. Like, you mean, what do you do? Like, you know, they took advantage, so you have to give them credit there.
Yeah, oh no, of course, like, absolutely. You know, you do give them credit, but Pats are just going to be disappointed. Like, it's not. They're just going to be, like, obviously they'll wake up this morning and they'll really, like, obviously they'll be turning their attentions quickly to, you know, Thursday against Sofia, but like, that's going to hurt them. I think that is going to hurt them. So look, it's disappointing for them. They're out of the cup. Waterford, delighted for that. Like obviously they'll be delighted. They're through to the next round. You know what I mean? And the way they play, like they do play quite good football, and they actually have always sort of played good football over the last probably. When Bertram came in, they played really good football. I don't really think they played great football when they were before Bertram, but when Bertram came in, he did, and then obviously he's gone. But they still have some like quality players like Phoenix Parson Jr. You know, I mean the striker you mentioned as well. So
they do have good,
they do have good players. So look, they're out. Pats are out of the cup. Waterford are through. Pats are gonna be really disappointed in this one.
Yeah, and it wasn't the only surprise. The Sligo Rovers were beaten 2-1 at home to Wexford. After extra time, I might add as well, Keane with a penalty to give them the lead, but Denny Corcoran scored to bring it to extra time, and Short gets the winner in extra time. Looked like a mistake from McNicholas. You actually watched this game, didn't you, as well? And, it was a bit of a half and a half team from Sligo as well. And you'd argue as well they get caught with the European euphoria as well a little bit here, but fair play to Wexford, like.
Yeah, no, fair play to Wexford. Jesus, I think did you and Daz both say that?
I did. I can't remember if Daz did or not. I can't remember. I think he did. He did. You're right. He did. Yeah.
I fancy Sligo to win. Look, you would just think that even if Sligo play you'd expect them to beat Wexford. Expect them to beat Wexford. But Wexford do have some good players. Like I actually, when I sat down to watch the match, I only realised the sort of players that Wexford actually have. They do have good players. Like, you know what I mean? And
did Jack Doherty play in the game, Luke?
No, I don't think so.
No, because he was out, and he's one of their best players, by the way. And he was out the last weeks. Yeah,
he's always been very good for them. Yeah, and then they obviously bring on Dinny, like, and the sort of experience Dinny has. I know Dinny quite well from last season and that, but the sort of experience he has, he can get you a goal, like, and he did. Like, obviously the second goal for Wexford is just keeper, catch the ball, man. It's dreadful. Like, just jump the ball in the net.
And if you're actually unsure, knock it over the bar, like.
Yeah, no. If you're unsure, like if he obviously the ball came in and he probably.
Look, he probably should catch it. Let's be honest, he probably should.
No, he should be catching it. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. Like, he should be catching it, and you'd think would McGinty have caught it? I think so. It's one of them ones. Look, I feel sorry for the keeper, of course. You know what I mean? He's had some really good games. Let's not take.
Honestly, yeah.
McGinty's gone, like, so he has had good performances, but Sligo out of the cup, like, this is what we're saying about Sligo. They're capable of some unbelievable results, and then they just fall apart. Then the last
few weeks actually sums them up completely, doesn't it?
Just
in a nutshell.
It's so frustrating, though. It's so annoying. Like,
it must be, yeah.
It is annoying for that. Like, I'm not annoyed, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if you're a Sligo fan, you must be Sligo fan,
it's so annoying, because you're after getting probably the most famous win in their history the other night, and then you've got Wexford at home. You should be able to play your second game. You should be able to win. Do you know what I mean? You should be able to go through, and they didn't, and they've lost the game.
If you look at it, in between both Motherwell games, which they won both games, by the way, they lost at home to UCD and they lost at home to Wexford.
Like, oh my God, I don't know how they do it. To be fair, but so look, they're out of the cup now. Is it a good thing that they're out of the cup? Obviously not, but their fans will sort of say to themselves, we can focus now on Europe, and we can also focus on the league and getting into the European spots. You know what I mean? Because
I feel like when you're out of the cup like that, Pat's in the same boat, you kind of have to look at it as a positive.
Yeah, but I think the less distractions for Sligo, the better, to be fair. Because they can't really deal with distractions. I don't know what the story is. But look, you know, I mean, fair play to Wexford, unbelievable. Ian Ryan is doing an absolutely unbelievable job there, by the way. So fair play to him and fair play to Wexford. Delighted for the likes of Dinny and that get on the score sheet as well. So really good result for Wexford. So fair play to them. They've got good players there, like, and probably with the players they have, like, obviously I was very impressed with the likes of Luka Lovic in the midfield, a good game. Joe Manley had a great game. Dobbs up top had a good game. Wexford could have won this game.
Luke, they've a nice mix for a change as well, because I'm used to watching Wexford saying, they're too young, the side is too young, but they do have that mix of experience. Like, even someone like Dobbs has a bit of experience, you know what I mean? Might be young, but there's experience there, like, Connor Davis and that. Obviously, Lachlan Fitzgerald is part of the setup there as well. And who else? Denny Corcoran, clearly. And there's some nice youth players, young players that brought in as well. So the mix is there, and Ian Ryan's did a cracking job. But I tell you what, he'll do well to last at Wexford another season, I think, with the job he's doing there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like, where are they actually in the league? Like, they could possibly.
They are they fifth or sixth? Yeah, so they're in the mix for sure. Yeah,
they're in that. You know what I mean? Like, and
yeah.
look, we know with the playoffs, anything can happen. Like, we've seen with the likes of Longford and that over the season, UCD and that. You know what I mean? It's sort of anything can really happen. Which is a good thing, I think, because anyone is sort of capable of beating anyone, especially in the first division. I really do think that the teams are like we have seen this season in the first division that even the clubs that are lower are still capable of getting results against probably the higher teams. Maybe not the top three, like as we've said, like because they are probably a level above the rest. You know what I mean? But to be fair to Wexford, good result into the next round of the cup. Like I've said, like you know what I mean. You get a favourite. They'll be hoping now. They probably got an unlucky draw, but they got through that. So they've probably won a favourable draw now. For them. So best of luck to them. Obviously, it's a great win.
Brilliant stuff, Luke. Look, lads, we'll leave it there. Subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button. Let us know what you think of the comments, and thanks for watching again. Brilliant.